Vazil, hello.
Hello, hi. First time that in modern history and certainly in the history of the European Union, we were facing such a global pandemic, caught by surprise. I think people in Brussels, but also at the national capitals. First reactions were probably from the EU level a little chaotic and disorganized, but gradually I think getting better and more coordination with the national governments. National development banks, including the ones where I'm engaged, the Czech National Development Bank, the Slovak Development Bank, they were leaders in this process because one of the first reactions by national governments was to provide enough liquidity for the companies to be able to survive this time when basically economy was frozen. There was quarantine introduced in de facto each of the European countries. So what you saw in the European Union was quite a concerted effort, which was driven by the European Central Bank, which accelerated so-called quantitative easing by putting more than 1 trillion euros on the market. Czech Republic, there was a big amount of guarantees which were provided from the state budget as well as from the European resources to the National Development Bank. And the National Development Bank then provided the guarantees to the commercial banks in the Czech, but also Slovak republics. This amount is close to 20% of GDP. A few months ago, the European Investment Bank approved so-called European Guarantee Fund, which de facto provides guarantees to national development banks, but also to commercial banks to make loans to corporations. European Commission and the national governments, together with the national development banks, are working together to make sure that corporations, companies in Europe can survive this difficult time.
Now we expect the possibility of the second wave of the virus. We seem to be more prepared now. So how do you think, in case of the worst scenario, what should the European instruments be based on, and the global one?
So I think that we will not see such a lockdown of economies as we saw during March, April, May in Europe. But on the other hand, the issue is, of course, how to continue with the economic development. Earlier, there is a lot of liquidity on the market, which is provided either by European Central Bank or by the national banks. We see now is that many companies in Europe are getting over-leveraged. Now being developed at the national level, but also at the European level, are different instruments how to provide more equity, more capital. Another issue is that debt levels of European governments has increased quite significantly during the COVID time. And that's why also the latest package, which was approved about a month and a half ago by the European leaders, it's 750 billion euro of so-called recovery plan. So this is money which will be provided to the governments, especially governments in difficult situations such as Italy, Spain, Greece. This is the money which will not increase the debt of the countries, but which will help them to support structural changes and to improve the economic situation.
On the website of European Investment Bank, I found a large list of different projects in different countries and different spheres. So could you please tell which ones are the ones of the high priority for the bank and the world economy in general?
Now the focus is very much on economic recovery to make sure that economies of Europe are getting back to normal and start investments. European guarantee scheme was approved by the European Investment Bank. It's 25 billion euro, which will be provided to the national development banks and to commercial banks to support new loans to companies in Europe. So, for example, supporting electromobility, making sure that car companies, car producers like Mercedes, BMW, Peugeot, Citroën, etc., which are drivers of European economy, that they have enough financial support to go through the transition towards electromobility, basically supporting CO2 reductions in Europe in general. It means supporting alternative energy, photovoltaic, wind, solar, bioenergy. There is a lot of focus, for example, on public buildings, because schools, hospitals, governmental offices, they consume a huge amount of energy. So there is a lot of attention now to improve the energy efficiency of these buildings through introduction of new energy-related equipment and technologies. So these are, I would say, kind of main areas where EIB is focusing now.
I'm interested about some specific instruments like letters of credit and factoring and administered data based on banking statistics. What are their role in such support and the recovery of economic growth in the European Union?
Well, when looking at the European Investment Bank, the main instruments are either loans or guarantees or equity or quasi-equity instruments. In general, in the financial sector, there is now, I would say, increased attention to those instruments which would facilitate trade, cross-border trade, but also financial relations between suppliers and the off-takers. Credit lines, different forfeiting type of instruments are also very much in demand because now with the difficult situation with coronavirus, there is more expectation from commercial banks to kind of take offload the risk of trading patterns, but also supply chains in between companies in Europe from the participants in the supply chain, and to use banks and financial institutions as intermediaries in the supply chain structure. What is the problem is sufficient amount of equity for the companies, but also for projects. And this is where European Investment Bank as well as national development banks are trying to fill this market gap.
Thank you, Vasil. It was very interesting.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.